A very, very warm welcome to all the devotees of Raman Kendra. May I now request Narayanji to start the proceedings with the puja and then Updeshsaram and Ashtotram.
Okay. Achyutaya Namaha, Anandaya Namaha, Govindaya Namaha. Shuklam Bharataram Vishnu Shashivardhanam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Dhyaye Sarva Vignopasantaye. Ayam Murta Samusardos Vimondo Mando no Kranando Ayam Murta Samusardostu Tadeva Laganam Sadinam Tadeva Tarabalam Chandrabalam Tadeva Vidyabalam Devabalam Tadeva Lakshmi Patete Tengrivam Smarami Om Bo Om Bua Om Sua Om Maha Om Jana Om Kava Om Satyam Om Tatsodavavadiyam Bargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodaya Om Abhijyotirisa Amritam Brahma Guru Swaram. Namopata Samasta Durdasha Dvara Sri Paramesa Pityatam Karishyamānasya Karmana Nirvignena Parsamyatattam Ado Vignesha Puja Karishye Prithviyam Nirutulasi Sutalam Chandakurmo Devada Prithvidya Trida Loga Devitam Vishnunatruda Tvam Sataremam Devi Pavitram Guru Sasnam Agamartam tu Devanam Kamanartam tu Rakshasham Kandaravam Karam Yadav Devadavan Lanjanam Mamopata Samasta Durga Shetwara Sri Paramesa Pityatam Nirvenda Sityattam Adav Vignesara Pujam Karishye Gananatva Ganapatikum Avame Kavin Kavinam Bhuvamastratramam Jeshta Rajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspade Anusunmanapis Siddhasadharam Asmin Daritra Binde Mahaganapatim Dhyayami Mahaganapatim Avamayami Mahaganapatie Namah Asanam Samarpayami Mahaganapatie Namah Argyam Samarpayami Mahaganapatie Namah Padyam Samarpayami Mahaganapatie Namah Asmaniyam Samarpayami Mahaganapatie Namah Upasarika Sranam Samarpayami Mahaganapatie Namah Srananantaram Asmaniyam Samarpayami Mahaganapatie Namah Vastradatam Akshadam Samarpayami Mahaganapatie Namah Yajnova Bhidartam Akshadam Samarpayami Mahaganapatie Namah Gandhagarayami Samarpayami Mahaganapatie Namah Gandhovari Akshadam Samarpayami Mahaganapatie Namah Alankaranatam Akshadam Samarpayami Mahaganapatie Namah Aritra Kungumam Samarpayami Mahaganapatie Namah Pushpai Bhujayami Om Sumugaya Namah Om Ekadandaya Namah Om Kapilaya Namah Om Gajagarnagaya Namah Om Lambodharaya Namah Om Bigadaya Namah Om Vighnarajaya Namah Om Vinayagaya Namah Om Dhumagedave Namah Om Ganatakshaya Namah Om Balachandraya Namah Om Gajaranaya Namah Om Vakragundaya Namah Om Surpakarnaya Namah Om Yerambaya Namah Om Skandabhujavaya Namah Om Siddha Vinayagare Namah Om Shankara Moksha Vinayagare Namah Om Atupurappane Vinayagare Namah Om Mahaganapatie Namah नानाविध परिमल पत्र पुष्पाणि समर्पयामि। धूपार्थं समर्पयामि। दीपार्थं समर्पयामि। अक्षतां समर्पयामि। ओम भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। देवसवितुर्प्रसवः सत्यं दोषेण प्रसञ्जामि अमृतस्तु अमृतं स्वाहा। ओम प्राणाय स्वाहा। ओम अपानाय स्वाहा। ओम ज्ञानाय स्वाहा। ओम उदानाय स्वाहा। ओम समानाय स्वाहा। ओम ब्रह्मणे स्वाहा। महागणपतिये नमः। महागणपतिये नमः। महागणपतिये नमः। कुडगंड कदलीपळ निवेद्यं समर्पयामि। मध्ये मध्ये पानीयं समर्पयामि। अमृतोपधातुत्रावसनं समर्पयामि। कर्पूरं समर्पयामि। गणपतिकुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पदे आरुष्टुमुनिकुलसीदसादनं महागणपतिये नमः। महागणपतिये नमः। महागणपतिये नमः। कर्पूरं समर्पयामि। नीराजनं समर्पयामि। नीराजनानन्तरम् आसमनीयं समर्पयामि। हरि ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम। ओम प्राणाय स्वाहा माने स्वाहा उदाने स्वाहा समाने स्वाहा ब्रह्मणे स्वाहा। महागणपतिये नमः। महागणपतिये नमः। महागणपतिये नमः। वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। गणपति प्रसादं शिरसा गृह्णामि। ओम भो ओम भुव ओम सुव ओम मह ओम जन ओम तव ओम सत्यम ओम तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। ओम आभज्योतिष अमृतपूर्णमुस्वरम् अमोपात समस्त दुर्दर्श द्वारा श्री परमेश्वर प्रीत्यर्थम शुभे सौगुने मुहूर्ते आद्य ब्रह्मण विद्य प्रार्थे देवेदे वराह कृते वैवस्वत मन्वन्तरे अष्टाविंशतितमे कलियुगे प्रथमे पादे जम्बूद्वीपे भारतवर्षे भरतखण्डे मेरु दक्षिणे पार्श्वे शताब्दे अस्मिन् वर्तमाने व्यावार्णिके प्रभवादीनां षष्ट्या संवत्सराणां मध्ये रमणनाम संवत्सरे उत्तरायणे सार्वरि वर्षे मासी मासे शिशिर ऋतु कृष्ण पक्षे भानुवासर युक्तायाम उत्तर पंगुनी नक्षत्र युक्तायाम शुभ नक्षत्र शुभ कर्ण एवं गुण विशेषण विशिष्टायाम अस्याम चतुर्थयाम शुभ तिथौ मम जन्म पापस जन्म प्रकृति एतच्चन पर्यन्तं मध्ये संभाविधानं सर्वेषां भावानां सत्य अवमोदनार्थम् अस्माहं सकुटुम्बानां क्षेमसौन्दर्य वीर्य विजय आयुरारोग्य ऐश्वर्येण अभिवृद्ध्यर्थं समस्त मंगलावध्यर्थं समस्त दुर्दोषशान्त्यर्थं रमण महर्षि प्रसादेन ज्ञान वैराग्य सिद्ध्यर्थं रमण महर्षि पूजां करिष्ये तदंगम कलश पूजां च करिष्ये। विघ्नेश्वरं यथास्थानं प्रतिष्ठापयामि। ओमनाट्य क्षेमाय पुनरागमनाय च कलशस्य मुखे विष्णुकण्ठे रुद्र समादृत मूले तत्र सिद्धितो ब्रह्मा मात्रिये मंत्रगुण समुद्रा कुशौ तु सागरा सर्वे सप्तत्रिका वसुंधरा ऋग्वेदो यजुर्वेदो सामवेदो अथर्वण गंगे सैन्य गोदावरी सरस्वती नर्मदे सिंधु कावेरी जलेस्मिन् सन्निधं कुरु अम्बैष सहिता सर्वे कर्षाम्ब समाश्रिता आयान्तु देव पूजार्थं दुर्दशकारका कम बोरा सागरोत्पन्नो विष्णुना विष्णुकरे देवेश पूजिते पादे नमोस्तुते देवो देवालय प्रोक्तो जीवो देवस्नानन अंजान निर्माल्यं सोयां भवने पूजयेत् ओम सकल गुणात्म शक्ति युक्ता योग पीडात्मने नमः आधार शक्तिये नमः मूल प्रकृतिये नमः आदिवराय नमः आदिकूर्माय नमः अनंताय नमः पृथ्वीये नमः आदित्यादि नवग्रह देवतोभ्यो नमः दश दिक्पालेभ्यो नमः गुरु ब्रह्मा गुरु विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वरा गुरु साक्षात् परम ब्रह्मा तस्मै से गुरवे नमः ओम अस्य श्री प्राण प्रतिष्ठा मंत्रस्य ब्रह्मा विष्णु महेश्वरा ऋषिरिति सामधर्माणि संतांसि सकल जगत् सृष्टिसति सम्मार्गाणि प्राण शक्ति परा देवता अहं बीजम हरिं शक्ति रोम चिरगम प्राण प्रतिष्ठापने विनियोग आम अंगुष्ठाभ्यां नमः हरिं गर्जनीभ्यां नमः रोम मध्यमाभ्यां नमः आम अनादिगाभ्यां नमः रोम कर्दलपुष्टाभ्यां नमः आम हृदयाय नमः हरिं शिरसे स्वाहा रोम शिखायै वसट आम कौसायं हरिं नेत्रदायाय वसट रोम अष्टदायापट पूर्ववस्वरूप दिग्बंध ध्यानम रक्तांबोधिस्त बोधोरस तरुणसोड करार्चे पासं गोदंडम विक्षुत्व मणिगुणम पंचमाणा प्राण सुखवालम त्रिनरसिदा पिनव सौर्वट्य देवी बाला गौरना मधुरुद्री प्राण शक्ति परान ओम हरिं क्रोम क्रोम हरिं माम अम्यम रम्लम वंशम शम्मः अंशसोहम ओम वंश अस्यामूर्तौ जीवतिष्ठतु अस्यामूर्तौ सर्वेन्द्रियाणि वांग मनस्व सस्वत्र दिव्या प्राणवाक् पाणिपाद आयुष्टानि या कस्ति स्वस्ति सुखम त्रिष्ठन्तु स्वाहा ओम अस्य श्री प्राण प्रतिष्ठा मंत्रस्य ब्रह्मा विष्णु महेश्वरा ऋषिरिति सामधर्माणि संतांसि सकल जगत् सृष्टिसति सम्मार्गाणि प्राण शक्ति परा देवता आम बीजम हरिं शक्ति रोम कीलकम प्राण प्रतिष्ठापने विनियोग आम अंगुष्ठाभ्यां नमः हरिं गर्जनीभ्यां नमः रोम मध्यमाभ्यां नमः आम अनाभिभ्यां नमः हरिं गरिष्ठिकाभ्यां नमः रोम कर्दलपुष्टाभ्यां नमः आम हृदयाय नमः हरिं शिरसे स्वाहा रोम शिखायै वसट आम कौसायं हरिं नेत्रदासाय वसट रोम अष्टदाय पट पूर्ववस्वरूप दिग्बंध असुनी दे पुनरस्मात् सक्ष पुनः प्राणमी नो इदे भोगम जो पश्यन्य सूर्य मुच्चंद मर्मदे मलयान स्वस्ति आवायुदो भव श्रद्धायुदो भव सन्निधो भव सन्निधो भव अवगुंडितो भव सुब्रतो भव सुप्रसन्नो भव सुमुखो भव वरदो भव प्रसिद्ध प्रसिद्ध स्वामी सर्वजगन्नाथ यावत् पूजावसानकं तावत् ध्रुवं विभावेन बिंबेस्मिन् सन्निधं गुरु ओम नमो भगवते श्री कुशेलाय नमो नमो भगवते श्री कुबेराय नमः चतुर्नोदि मनोरंजन पौलस्य परत्रपः लक्ष्मी प्रदसीमानंद प्रिय ईश्वर श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः गुरु ब्रह्मा गुरु विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वरा गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्मा तस्मै से गुरवे नमः I will recite Brahmostratram now. Abhara Sachi Suguvari Rashorya Shorvi Matram Bhuvanam Samastam Guhaidantam Ramanam Gaviram Chintavirinam Iridi Chindayami Om Mahosena Mahomsena Jataya Namaha Om Shri Ramanaya Namaha ओम गुरवे नमः ओम अखंड संविदाराय नमः ओम महोदसे नमः ओम कारणोद्भवाय नमः ओम जगद्विदावताराय नमः ओम श्री भूमिनादास्तु ज्योतिदाय नमः ओम पराशर कुलोतंसाय नमः ओम सुंदरा गगवत्पलाय नमः ओम कमनीय सुचारित्राय नमः। ओम सयायाम्बा सयायवते नमः। ओम सोनाशूल महोलीन मानसाय नमः। ओम स्वर्णस्तगाय नमः। ओम श्रीमद्वादशांत महास्थले लब्ध विद्योदयाय नमः। ओम महाशक्ति निवादेन प्रबुद्धाय नमः। ओम परमार्थ विदे नमः। ओम दिव्यराय नमः। ओम पितृपदान्वेषिणे नमः। ओम हिंदू मौलिना पितृपदे नमः। ओम विदुरादेस्त षोडशैल प्राप्ताय नमः। ओम तमोमयाय नमः। ओम उदासीनाय नमः। ओम महायोगिने नमः। ओम महोत्साहाय नमः। ओम कुशाग्रदिये नमः। ओम शांत संकल्प संप्रभाय नमः। ओम सुसुंद्रुसे नमः। ओम सवित्रे नमः। ओम स्थिराय नमः। ओम तवश्चवीद सर्वज्ञाय नमः। ओम पुल्लांबूज विलोचनाय नमः। ओम चंद्रिका सिद्धार्थ श्री मंडिदारिण मंडलाय नमः। ओम सूदवाक्यां समासीनाय नमः। ओम सूर्यदार्गिन विप्रमाय नमः। ओम वेद वेदांत तत्वज्ञाय नमः। ओम चिन्मुत्रिणे नमः। ओम त्रिगुणादिगाय नमः। ओम विरूपाक्ष भुवावासाय नमः। ओम विराजगसलाकृतये नमः। ओम उत्तिष्ठ नयनाय नमः। ओम पूर्णाय नमः। ओम रसिदासन तांडवाय नमः। ओम गंभीराय नमः। ओम परमाचार्याय नमः। ओम सुप्रसन्नाय नमः। ओम अभयप्रदाय नमः। ओम दक्षिणायनिवाय नमः। ओम धीराय नमः। ओम दक्षिणाभिमुखाय नमः। ओम स्वरागे नमः। ओम महर्षे नमः। ओम भगवते नमः। ओम ईत्याय नमः। ओम भूम विद्या विशारदाय नमः। ओम विमलाय नमः।
पानी
ओम दीर्घदर्शने नमः। ओम आप्ताय नमः। ओम रुजमार्ग प्रदर्शकाय नमः। ओम समदृशे नमः। ओम सत्यदृशे नमः। ओम सत्याय नमः। ओम प्रसादाय नमः। ओम अमित विक्रमाय नमः। ओम सुकुमाराय नमः। ओम सदानंदाय नमः। ओम मृदुवासिने नमः। ओम दयानवाय नमः। ओम श्री सोणासुर निरुद्भूत स्कंदा सर्व निकेतनाय नमः। ओम संकर्षणोपदेष्टरे नमः। ओम संतप्त वृत्त परिवृदाय नमः। ओम गणेश मुनिप्रियेन सेविताय नमः। ओम गीतोपदेश सारादि ग्रंथ संसिद्ध सत्याय नमः। ओम वर्णाश्रम मदादीदाय नमः। ओम रसज्ञाय नमः। ओम सौम्याय नमः। ओम आत्मवदे नमः। ओम सर्वावधि मनस्तानाम आराध्याय नमः। ओम सर्व सद्गुणिने नमः। ओम आत्मारामाय नमः। ओम महाभागाय नमः। ओम मातृमुक्ति विदायकाय नमः। ओम विनदाय नमः। ओम विनुदाय नमः। ओम विप्राय नमः। ओम मुनीन्द्राय नमः। ओम भावगोज्वलाय नमः। ओम दर्शनादक सम्मारिणे नमः। ओम मौनेन स्वात्म बोधकाय नमः। ओम नित्याय नमः। ओम स्मरणात्मक मोचकाय नमः। ओम अंधस्मीर झंडांसवे नमः। ओम संसारारंगतारकाय नमः। ओम सोनादिपिष्टरे नमः। ओम आर्त विद्या प्रकाशकाय नमः। ओम अविच्युत निज प्रज्ञाय नमः। ओम नैसर्गीय महातपसे ओम गुवाय नमः, ओम दंडवाणिये नमः, ओम कृपापूर्णाय नमः, ओम पवरोगपिशक्वराय नमः, ओम स्कंदाय नमः, ओम देवदमाय नमः, ओम अमर्त्याय नमः, ओम सेनानिये नमः, ओम पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः। ओम नमो भगवते श्री अरुणाचल श्री रमणाय नमः। ओम नमो भगवते श्री अरुणाचल श्री रमणाय नमः। ओम नमो भगवते श्री अरुणाचल श्री रमणाय नमः। ओम नमो भगवते श्री कार्तिकाय नमः। ओम नमो भगवते श्री मुर्गावल्ली दैवाने नमः। ओम नमो भगवते श्री सुब्रमण्याय नमः। ओम नमो भगवते श्री स्वामीनाथने नमः। ओम नमो भगवते श्री दक्षिणामूर्तिये नमः। ओम नमो भगवते श्री नटराजने नमः। ओम नमो भगवते श्री भैरवने नमः। ओम नमो भगवते श्री नंदीमहेश्वराय नमः। ओम नमो भगवते श्री शिव पार्वतीये नमः। हरि ओम, हरि ओम, हरि ओम। I will recite Upadesh Sarvam now. कर्तुराज्ञया तापदे फलम कर्म किंबरम कर्म दर्जनम कृतिमहतदो पदन कारणम फलम शाश्वतम गद निरोधकम ईश्वरार्पितम नेचयाकृतम सिद्धशोधकम मुक्ति साधकम कायवाङ्मन कार्यमुद्गमं भूजनं जप चिन्तनं क्रमात् गतैषधी युक्तसेवनम् अष्टमूर्तिभृत् देवपूजनम् उत्तमस्तवा दुज्जमन्दद चित्तजं जप ध्यानमुत्तमम् आद्यधारया श्लोकशासनम् सरलचिन्तनम् विरलदपरम् वेदभावना सौम्यमित्यसौ भावनाविदा भावनीमदा भावशून्यस भावसुस्तुति भावनाबला भक्तिरुत्तमा तिरुस्थले मन स्वस्थता क्रिया भक्ति योग बोधाश्च निश्चितम् वायुरोदना क्रियते मन ज्ञानभक्षिव बोधसाधनम् सिद्धवायव सिद्धिक्रियायुधा साधयोर्वयि शक्तिमूलका लय विनाशने उभयरोधने लयकदम्बुध भवदिनोरुदम् प्राणबन्धना लीनमानसम् एकचिन्तना नाशमेध्यज नष्टमानसो निष्ठयोगिन कृत्यमस्तिं स्वस्तिदं यद दृश्यवारिदं चित्तमस्मय चित्तदर्शनं तत्त्वदर्शनं मानसं तुल्यं मार्गणे कृते नैव मानसं मार्गार्जव वृद्धयस्त्वहं वृद्धिमाश्रिता वृद्धयो मनो विद्यामन अमयं कुतो भवति चिनवद ऐपदत्यहं निजविचारणम् अविनाशवा यमहं दया स्फुरतीर स्वयं परम पूर्णस इदमंबदा अभिख्यमन्वम् अहमिलीनके अप्यल्लसत्कया विग्रहेन्द्रिय प्राणदीगम नाम से कस जड़म सस तत्वपासिका सिद्ध्ववेदरम श्रद्धयायिषि सिद्धयायहम् ईश जीवयो देशदीपिता सत्स्वभावतो वस्तु केवलम् ईशानद स्वात्मदर्शनम् ईशदर्शनम् स्वात्मरूपत आत्मसंस्थिति स्वात्मदर्शनम् आत्मनिर्दया आत्मनिष्ठता ज्ञानवर्जिता अज्ञानहीनचि ज्ञानमस्ति ज्ञानमन्तरम् किं स्वरूपमि आत्मदर्शने अव्ययमवा पूर्णस्य सुखम् बन्धमुक्त्यदि परं सुखम् विन्दति वस्तुदैविक अहमवेदकम् निजविवादनम् महतितं तवो रमणवादियम् अहमवेदकम् निजविवादकम् महतितं तवो रमणवादियम् महतितं तवो रमणवादियम् महतितं तवो रमणवादियम्। ओम नमो भगवते श्री अरुणाचल श्री रमणाय नमः। 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 हरि ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम।
Narayanji, thank you. A very, very warm welcome to you, Swamiji. You definitely do not need any form of introduction from us, but for the benefit of our new devotees, Swamiji is the spiritual leader of Vedanta Society of New York, formed by Swami Vivekananda in 1894. He joined the Ramakrishna Mutt and Mission in 1994 and received sannyas in 2004. Before being posted to the Hollywood Temple, Swamiji served as an acharya of the Monastic Probationers Training Center at Belur Mutt. He has served the Ramakrishna Mutt and Mission in various roles, including as the Vice Principal of the Deogar Vidyapeeth Higher Secondary School, Principal of the Shikshana Mandir Teacher Education College at Belur Mutt, and the first Registrar of the Vivekanand University at Belur Mutt. Swamiji had very kindly addressed us all on the auspicious occasion of Jayanti last month. Swamiji, on behalf of our devotees, a very warm welcome to you with a request to address us and bless all of us. Swamiji, please.
Sorry, there was a slight interruption in the internet connection. Then now I think it's all right. Can you hear me, everybody?
Yes,
You can
Swamiji.
hear. Yes. All right. Thank you for having me again on this occasion. It was a pleasure to speak to the devotees at Ramana Kendra in New Delhi, virtually though. Unfortunately, from this pandemic, we are unable to travel, unable to meet. But one curious benefit of this is that we have taken recourse to this virtual medium of communication. And as a result, we are able to meet across the world. Let me start today. What I will do is, I will speak for about maybe 30-40 minutes, and then please listen to what I'll be saying. And then we can have a short discussion after that. Your questions or comments, we can discuss it after that. I'll start with a short chant. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness unto light, lead us from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. The message of Bhagavan Ramana is can be best characterized as the highest form of Advaita Vedanta. And the texts which embody this best are texts like the Ashtavakra Samhita, the Avadhuta Gita, or Bhagavan Ramana's favorite, the Ribhu Gita. So what I've thought today is the same message which we discussed last time, carrying on from there. I'm going to take up a few verses from the Ashtavakra, and I'll speak a little bit about it. Listen carefully, and then we will interact. Now, the Ashtavakra Gita can be characterized as the highest teaching of Advaita Vedanta, the final teachings of Advaita Vedanta. There are texts which are, the foundations are the Upanishads, which are instructional in nature, which introduce us to the teachings of the Advaita Vedanta, the fundamentals. And there are texts which are dialectical in nature. Very subtle philosophical discussions go on there, like Advaita Siddhi and so on, Chitsukhi and so on. There are introductory texts which give us an introduction into the philosophical system of Advaita called Prakarana Granthas, written by Adi Shankaracharya and many of the masters afterwards. But Ashtavakra, the Avadhuta Gita, Ribhu Gita, these texts are not like those texts. In Ashtavakra Gita, you will not find any stories, you will not find any philosophical arguments also. What you will find is that the highest truth, that you are Brahman, that the self, Atma, is Brahma. This is again and again in what might be called a grand monotone. It is repeated again and again and again in various ways. Just one thing is being taught. So something like the Ashtavakra Gita, wherever you pick it up, whichever chapter, whichever verse you pick it up, you will get that same teaching, just like Bhagavan Ramana. So the central teaching about who we are, that teaching itself solves all the problems of our lives. This is the final teaching of Advaita Vedanta. So, in that spirit, I have just picked out a few verses, not entirely at random. It's one of my favorite sections in the Ashtavakra in chapter 15. So, from verse number 4, chapter 15 of Ashtavakra, verse number 4, I'll start from there, just 2 or 3 verses we will discuss. These books, like the Ashtavakra, these are what might be called Nididhyasana texts, though I've never heard that term being used, but it's an appropriate term. Nididhyasana means by Shravana, by hearing the teachings of Advaita Vedanta. If there is an interruption, let me know, because my connection is a little unstable here. Sometimes it gets frozen. So by Shravana, we are introduced to the fundamental teachings of Advaita Vedanta. That means we hear the teachings, you study the Vedanta systematically. And then Manana, we discuss these teachings, we have questions, we have doubts, those are resolved through Manana. Once we know the teachings, and once we do not have any doubts, we have got conviction about the teachings, then what we know now, what we are convinced about, we meditate on it. Meditate means we stay with that conviction, that light of that conviction, we stay with it until it becomes a living reality in our lives. That is called Nididhyasana, Vedantic Nididhyasana. Meditation, basically Vedantic meditation. But there are some texts like the Ashtavakra, reading which is equivalent to Vedantic meditation. It is, if you read the Ashtavakra Gita, Ribhu Gita, it is like sitting in the presence of Bhagavan Ramana. That light, it's just sitting in that light. So here you will find the same teaching in a very grand and simple way. I mean, the language of Ashtavakra is very simple. It's simply stated, direct teaching you will find. So in I've just selected from this verse 4 of the 15th chapter. We'll do 4, 5, 6 maybe. What does it say? Natvam deho nate deho bhokta karta nava bhavan chidruposi sada sakshi nirapeksha sukham chara. Very beautiful verse. It says, you are not the body. Even the body is not yours. You are not the doer of actions, the agent, karta. You are not the enjoyer or sufferer, the bhokta. Chidrupasi. What am I then? You are consciousness itself. Sada sakshi, always the witness. Not an object of your consciousness, but always the witness. And nirapeksha, free, not dependent on anything. Sukham chara. So what do? You live happily. You interact with the world, move around, live happily. Sukham chara. Very beautiful verse. You are not the body is not yours, you are not the karta, you are not the bhokta, you are always the witness consciousness. You are always free. Whether you know it or not, you're always free. Live happily, move around happily in this life. Sukham chara. Interact with the world happily in this life. So what does this mean? First of all, and probably the most important thing, natvam deha. We are not the body. See, one problem is this identification of the body is actually the simplest and the most powerful obstacle to understanding Advaita Vedanta. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is asked by Arjuna, which is easier, the path of bhakti or the path of knowledge? Abhyakta, the path of the unmanifest, or devotion to God. And Krishna says, Abhyakta hi gatir dukkham dehavad bhiravapyate. The path of knowledge is difficult. That's why most people have this idea, oh, Advaita is too difficult. What Bhagavan Ramana teaches is too difficult. For us, the path of simple devotion is better. In one sense, people are right, because, as Krishna says, the path of knowledge is a little difficult for those who are embodied. Abhyakta hi gatir dukkham dehavad bhiravapyate. Now, embodied means everybody is embodied. In one sense, Bhagavan Ramana is embodied, Vivekananda is embodied, we are also embodied. But what does embodied mean is who is identified with the body. If our whole identity is, if I asked, who am I? Who are you? I say, I am this one. And what is this? This is I. I am this and this is I. This complete identification. In Advaita, it is called the Anyonya Dhyasa. This complete identification with the body. I am the body and the body is I. This complete identification is the real problem in trying to understand Advaita Vedanta. So this is what is attacked first. It's actually not difficult. If Bhagavan Ramana appeals to you, it means that you have the tendency, the samskara for understanding Advaita Vedanta. Even Sri Ramakrishna, people used to think, so he is basically a devotee. He's a devotee of Mother Kali, Ma Kali. It is true. At the same time, he would say things like, he said, tie the knowledge of Advaita to the hem of your cloth. You have to imagine in Bengal, in rural Bengal in those days, women in the house would tie the household keys to the hem of their sari. So tie the knowledge of Advaita to the hem of your cloth and then do whatever you like. In Bengali, he would say. So this, one can make Advaitic knowledge the basis of one's life. Then do whatever you like means, then you can practice bhakti, then you can practice meditation, then you can practice karma yoga and serve the world. And then you can go about your duties in the ashram, in the house, in your community, in your career. All of that you can go around with the foundation of the knowledge of Advaita. But first, most important, is that we must examine this instinctive identification with the body. Shankaracharya calls it Naisargiko ayam loka vyavahara. It says a natural ignorance with which we are born. And you don't have to go to school to become identified with the body. Automatically, after some time, the baby feels, I am this body. This body is I and I am this body. But is it true? Is it true? Very quickly, I'll mention, I had mentioned this in detail in the talk earlier, but how am I not this body? First of all, that this body is an object and I am the subject. I am the experiencer, the drashta, the seer. The body is the experience, the drishya, the seen. Seer and seen are not the same. See, for example, when I look at this book, so I am the seer. These eyes are seeing and the book is the seen. The seen, the book, and the eyes, which are the seer, are not the same. Very clearly different. In fact, when we look around, everything that we see is a seen, drishya, and it must be different from the eyes. Unless something is different from the eyes, you cannot see it. To see something, the eyes, to see something in a very simple, naive way, if you think about it, to see something, it must be at a distance from your eyes. Even your glasses, which you're wearing, the spectacles which you're wearing, is a little distance from your eyes. The only thing that the eyes cannot see are the eyes themselves. Everything else the eyes can see. Now, it is not just seeing. Any sense organ, they act on something different from them. Seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. I, the knower, I, the experiencer, I am the drashta. And whatever I know, whatever I experience, must be different from me. They cannot be the same entity. Drashta and Drishya must be different. The body is Drishya. Think about it. Can you see the body? Yes. Can you touch the body? Yes. You can see it, touch it, hear it. If a tummy is rumbling, you can hear it. You can smell it. You can taste the body. The body is an object to all the five senses. It is seen, heard, smelled, tasted, touched. It's an object. And you are the drashta of the body. So you, the drashta of the body, you, the one who can see, hear, smell, taste, touch the body, you cannot be the body. It's a simple fact. We never think about it. The very nature of avidya or aviveka is that we instinctively come to this understanding that we are the body. We never examine it. If you examine it, then this understanding falls apart. This is an error. It falls apart. It disappears if you examine it. How do you examine it? Like this, drashta and drishya. Because the body is a drishya, I am the drashta, I cannot be the body. And therefore the states of the body, youth, middle age, old age, not my state. I am the experiencer. I'm not denying the body is becoming old, wrinkles are coming, that health is not as good as it used to be. I'm not denying it, but that's not mine. It's in the body. One sadhu in Uttarakhand said, "Jo jiska hai usko usi mein rakho." So the body, old age belongs to the body. Keep it in the body. Don't impose it upon yourself. Disease belongs to the body. Keep it in the body. Don't impose it upon yourself. See, yes, this is the property of the body. I am not the body. Tall, short, fair, dark, man, woman, property of the body. I am not the body. I am not tall or short. I am the drashta of that. I am not dark or fair. I am the drashta of that. I am not man or woman. I am the drashta of that. These properties of the body. Because you are the drashta and the body is a drishya, you cannot be the body. Similarly, because the body is insentient, jara, you are sentient, consciousness. Jara and Chaitana cannot be the same thing. Therefore, you are not the body. Simple insight. If you apply it, you will see how amazing it is. It is a fact. What do I mean by that? Jada and Chaitana? One should carefully consider it. Are you aware of the body? Yes. I'm aware of the body. Here, we just said drashta drishya, so I'm aware of the body. Is the body aware of you? You will say, what a strange question. Yes, but think about it. Is the body aware of you? No, the body is not aware. Just as this book is not aware of me, I am aware of the book. The body is not aware of me. I am aware of the body. It's a simple experiment. Look at your hand. I am aware of the hand. The hand is not aware of Swami Sarvapriyananda. Not at all. It's an object. So, this is another pointer. Jada and Chetana. You are conscious and the body is not conscious. You are sentient, the body is not sentient. How can the conscious and the not conscious be the same thing? How can the sentient and the insentient, Jada and Chetana, be identical? They cannot be. So remember, these two seem similar. Drashta Drishya and Jada Chetana, they seem similar, but they are two different approaches to the same question. Am I the body? No. You are Drashta, body is Drishya. Drashta and Drishya are separate. You are Chetana, the body is Jada. Chetana and Jada are separate, and therefore you cannot be the body. Another way, changing and unchanging. This body has changed from babyhood to childhood to teenage to youth to middle age to old age. It has changed so much, and it's continuously changing. Doctors will tell us how much the body, we're continuously shedding cells, and new cells are being generated in this body, continuously changing. And yet we say, you say, I was that baby, I was that teenager, I was that young person, I was that middle-aged person, I am this old person, I am the same. Was the baby somebody different and this old person is somebody different? No. I say I am the same. Then how can you be the same if the body is continuously changing? Body is not the same. The constituents of the body is like a river flowing. They're saying that you cannot take a bath in the same river twice. So when you go to take a bath in the Ganga or Yamuna again, it is changed because it looks like the same, but the water has flowed. Similarly, matter has flowed through this body. How can you say that it's the same body? Body is changing. You are unchanging. How can you be the same? How can you be the body? Changing, unchanging. Savikara, nirvikara. You cannot be the body. You are the drashta, chetana, nirvikara. This consciousness which is experiencing the body, and the body is the drishya, experienced, jada, insentient, and savikara, continuously changing. We can go on. There are many such ways of analyzing, doing viveka, but all it reveals to us is, I am not the body. At this point we may say, all right, I admit it, I am not the body, but body is mine. I am in the body, body is mine. It's like I am in the car, but the car is mine. So it is my body. I never said I am the body. What I meant was, it is my body. And Ashtavakra says, Nate deho. The body is not yours. Again, think about it. Is the body mine? One sadhu in Uttarakhand put it very nicely in simple Hindi. He said, Deha aapka hai Mahatma ji? Oh monk, is your body the does the body belong to you? What do you mean by belong to you? And do you have the papers to show that you own the body, ownership papers? Here a police will stop your car and ask, give your papers to show that you have the license and registration. If police stops you and asks, give papers to your body. No. Did you make this body? No. Even your parents did not make this body. It is nature which made this. Prakriti. Prakriti has made this body. We could not make this body. Do you own the materials out of which this body is made? The Panchabhuta, they are owned by God. Ishvara owns the Panchabhuta, the Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Teja, Jala, Prithvi. All of this is owned by Ishvara. The materials out of which the body is constituted, they do not belong to me. They belong to God. I don't own the materials. I have not constructed the body. I do not have any. Did anybody give it to you as a gift? Here, I'm giving you this body, take. No, I have no such memory. You don't own the body. You don't have rights to the materials out of which the body is made. There's this funny story, joke about, a scientist came and told a gentleman that, in God, this whole God hypothesis is not necessary. We can create life in the laboratory. This gentleman said, that's very interesting, show me. So scientist said, come to my laboratory, I will show you. And this gentleman goes to the laboratory of the scientist, and the scientist said, see, this is the process. First, you take some earth. And then the gentleman said, get your own earth. It is God's earth. So how can you say you are creating? All the material is still there. So you do not own the material. Do you control the body? It's what thinking about. Do I control the body actually? I feel I am in charge of the body. But really, no. Almost none of the activities of the body are under our direct control. Nature is doing it. They're autonomous functions. In fact, at this moment, if Prakriti said, all right, now you drive this body, you are in charge of this body, it would be a crisis. Thousands of processes going on in this body. The lungs operating, the heart operating, the blood circulation, the enzymes and the hormones and the digestion going on, the assimilation of food. So many activities are going on at the organ level, tissue level, cellular level. If I am put in charge of it, it would be disaster. It would immediately, I would have to be admitted to the hospital. It would collapse, the body would collapse. No, most of the activities of the body are not, almost nothing in this body is under our control. Nothing in this body is under our control. It's so delicate. We're just discussing with a person here that this body is so delicate. Just, one little blow here, one little disease, one little virus, dead. And yet sometimes a soldier may get hit by a dozen bullets and may still survive sometimes. We don't know. We are not in charge of the life and death of this body. Nate deho. Neither are you the body, nor is the body yours. It's a great lesson to learn. Everything about this body is controlled by our prarabdha karma, by Ishvara. We are just, as the Americans say, we are here for the ride. Yet we are like Uber, the taxi comes, we don't own it. We just short that, and for short duration, you are sitting there, it will take you from one point A to point B and drop you off there. Similarly, body is there, it takes us from point A to point B, and then we don't drop it up, it doesn't drop us off, it collapses itself and it goes back to Panchabhuta. So, nate deho, na karta na bhokta. Karta means identified with the sense organs. I am, right now I actually feel I am the speaker. I am speaking, I talk, I walk, I eat. All the activities of the motor organs, I identify with that. I am the karta, the doer of deeds. And bhokta, in identification with the pancha gyanindriya, with the 5 sense organs. Right now you will be feeling, I am listening to this talk. So I am the one who is listening. I am the one who is seeing. I am the one who feels cold, heat, cold, pain, pleasure. So I am the bhokta. And karta and bhokta are related. The deeds that we do as the karta, I am the doer of the deeds. That karma generates the karma phala. And that karma phala comes back to us as sukha and dukkha, pleasure and pain. And we experience that pleasure and pain and we say, I am the bhokta. I am happy. I am miserable. I am struggling in life. All these things we feel. The experiencer of experiences. Often it is translated in our books as bhokta means enjoyer. It's not always enjoyment. Mostly it is not enjoyment. Mostly it is suffering in life. So enjoying and suffering both are bhokta, bhoga. But that happens only when I'm identified with the sense organs, with seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, feeling heat and cold, pleasure and pain. So bhokta and karta, and Ashtavakra says, na bhokta na karta. You are not the bhokta, not the karta. Then what am I? Remember, he is not denying that there is a body. The body is there. You can experience it. He is not denying that we are experiencing things through the body. You are doing bhoga. He is not denying that there is activity going on through the body. But what he is saying is, you are not it. It does not define you. Then what am I? If I'm not the body, we become curious. Then what am I? Tell me what am I? And Ashtavakra says, Chidruposi. Chidruposi. You are of the nature of consciousness. Sada Sakshi. You're always the witness. This is worth thinking about. What is this consciousness? Body, if you tell me, I can understand. Here is the body. If you tell me that I am the mind, that also I can understand. When I close my eyes, thoughts are coming, memories are coming, ideas are coming, feelings are coming. I am the mind. I understand. But what is consciousness? Consciousness is that which is aware of the body and mind. The drashta, when you do drigdrishya viveka, not body, not mind, not prana, not indriyas, not the buddhi. I am aware of all of these. That which is aware, that pure subject which never becomes an object, that is consciousness. It is of the nature of awareness itself. Because of that we are aware. Because of that we are lit up. Upanishad says, Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. Kathopanishad. By its light, everything is lit up. That shining, everything shines. By your light, everything is lit up. What is lit up? Mind is lit up. Sense organs are lit up. The body is lit up. You feel aware. The body feels aware. And with this aware body, you experience the world. By your light, everything is lit up. You shining, everything shines. That is the meaning of the Kathopanishad line. So, Chidruposi, Sada Sakshi, always Sakshi. When we say Sakshi, witness, we feel it's like it's an action, witnessing. that I am watching something. You call to court that you are the witness. You have seen the incident. No, it's not in that sense. Witnessing here is not an action. It is the very nature of consciousness to shine forth, to illumine. Whatever, like light, whatever comes in this light is illumined. That's the very nature of light. Similarly, it's your very nature. Whatever comes whatever comes is illumined by you. A thought comes, that's illumined by you. A feeling comes, that's illumined by you. The breath comes, you're aware of it. The body is there, you're aware of it. When everything is shut down in deep sleep, the deep sleep is also illumined by consciousness. That's why we are able to say after waking up, I slept happily, I did not know anything. I slept happily and I did not know anything. That I know. When I wake up and the mind starts functioning, we get that intuition. So consciousness is that, it's sada sakshi, always the sakshi. It is not the introspective function of the mind, that sometimes I can introspect and look inside and witness my thoughts. That's a good practice. It's a witness meditation. But that's not what he means here. You are always the sakshi, effortlessly so, choicelessly so. When we do witness meditation or something like that, we make an effort. I will not get involved in anything. I will sit quietly. I will watch my breath. I will watch my thoughts. I am the witness. That is not what he's talking about here. He's saying you are the witness choicelessly. Always, sada sakshi. You are the witness of your waking. You're the witness of your dream. You're the witness of your deep sleep. So you are the sada sakshi. And then nirapekshaha. This consciousness does not depend on anything. Everything depends on you, the consciousness. You see, the body to be alive and active depends on you being there as consciousness. The sense organs to be able to see, hear, smell, taste, touch, it depends on you, the consciousness. Kena Upanishad says, Kene shitam parati preshitam mana, Kena prana prathama prayeti yuktaha, Kene shitam vachamimam vadanti, chakshushrotram kaudeva yunakti. What illumines this mind makes the thoughts come. What enables me to see and hear and smell and taste and touch? That's one thing, that consciousness. That being there, everything is illumined. Everything is dependent on that. But that is not dependent on anything. Nirapeksha. Then what do I do? Sukham chara. Important. Happily interact with life. When you hear things like, you are not the body, not the mind, you are not the sense organs, you are not karta, bhokta, you feel you have to sit quietly like a stone. Not at all. Just because you are not the car does not mean you cannot drive the car. Of course, the driver drives the car precisely because the driver is not the car. Just because you are not the body and mind does not mean the body and mind will not function. In your presence, the body and mind will do its function, but you are free of it. That's what Ashtavakra is saying. Certainly you can talk and smell and eat and taste and hear. You can give a talk and you can hear the talk also. You can walk around, you can eat food, but actually you are not doing anything. You are not the karta of these actions. Not being the karta, you are not the generator of the karma, and therefore you are not the bhokta of the karma phala. You are the witness, sada sakshi. All activities can go on. Or if you feel, you may shut down the activities and sit quietly in meditation. That is also possible. Whatever you do, active or passive, interacting with the world or withdrawing from the world, in both cases, sada sakshi. It's a wonderful teaching. See, the difference is in yogic meditation, you're supposed to shut down. Ashtanga yoga, you have to sit quietly. You cannot run around and be active in the kitchen or in the community or in the office and say, I'm doing nirvikalpa samadhi also. You cannot do that. You have to sit down. Asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, then only samadhi. But what Ashtavakra is saying is, sukham chara. Be active in life, as active as you want, or be calm and withdrawn. In both cases, Sada Sakshi. You don't have to be. You're choicelessly so. One sadhu put it very nicely in Gangotri. I often repeat it. He looked at me and he said, "ये बड़ी उल्टी दर्शन है महात्मा जी. This is a very paradoxical philosophy. तुम जानो या ना जानो, मानो या ना मानो, तुम ही राम. Whether you know it or not, whether you believe it or not, accept it or not, you are Rama. You are Rama means what? Are you that Dhanurdhari, Dasharat Nandan Rama? Not in that sense. You are Rama means your consciousness. Chidruposi. Now, this is about the body, but it applies to the mind also. Ashtavakra says next, the 5th verse. Remember, we are on 15th chapter. Raga dveshau mano dharmau namanaste kadachana nirvikalposi bodhatma nirvikara sukham chara. Raga dvesho manodharma. What is he saying here? Likes and dislikes, preferences. These are attributes of the mind, and we are so closely attached to that. He says they are qualities of the mind. Na manaste kadachana. They are not your qualities. Even the mind is also not yours. Neither are you the mind. The mind is also not yours. What a radical statement. About the body, we can at least think that yes, I am not the body. And what Swamiji says is right. Body is not mine. I don't own it. I did not make it. I don't control it. It is nature which is running everything. Fine. But the mind, I'm so closely associated. We always think we are the mind. We are this person embodied in this body. And he says here, Ashtavakra, no, you are not. You are not the mind. The mind, even the mind is not yours. Na manaste kadachana. What to speak of the properties of the mind? Likes and dislikes, thoughts, feelings, memories. They are also not yours. The mind is also another kind of body. Vedanta says mind is sukshma sharira. Physical body is sthula sharira, gross body. Mind is sukshma sharira. It's the body. It is also a body. It is not you. Sukshma sharira, composed of what? Sukshma sharira, the Upanishads will give it. The 17 parts are there or 19 parts are there. The pranamaya kosha, the manomaya kosha, the vijnanamaya kosha. This is called sukshma sharira. But the point here is, it is not you, it is not yours. What a great freedom. Remember, he is not denying that it is there. It is appearing, it is doing its function, but it is not you. What a great freedom to drop the mind. I remember one little incident where Bhagavan Ramana is sitting quietly there, and there are people sitting near him, and somebody asks, what is Bhagavan thinking? He did not reply, he was sitting quietly. Somebody else replied, he's not thinking anything. And Bhagavan Ramana smiled softly, as if giving assent to that. You can stop, you can drop the mind also. Mind is an instrument. Why should it always think? It is like having hands. If you have got hands, will you keep on grabbing things? If you have legs, will you keep on walking and running? If you have a tongue, will you keep on talking? No. If you have a mind, will you keep on thinking? No, but the mind keeps on thinking. And most of it is unnecessary thought, churning away. So, na manaste kadachana. You are not the mind is not yours, never was yours. What a freedom. What a freedom. Step back from the mind, drop the mind. Let it think if it will. Swamiji, mind is thinking, what can I do? I can't control it. Let it think, what is it to you? There are 7 billion people with minds. Animals also have minds. Are you controlling those minds? No. Then if this one mind, Ashtavakra is telling you, it is not yours. It is not you. Why are you so bothered about trying to control it? See, it's so radical. The yogi will say, control the mind. The bhakta will say, fill the mind with devotional thoughts. The karma yogi will say, fill the mind with benevolent thoughts about others, for doing good to others. Ashtavakra says, drop the mind. You are not the mind. But then mind is necessary. Will I not think about all the duties of life? And yes, of course, mind will do its work. What is it to you? So that attitude, if you take at least once in a while, I am not the mind. Think in this way. All the thoughts that the mind thinks are meaningless. Not one thought has any meaning, any purpose, any validity. If you think like that don't think continuously, otherwise you cannot work. But if you think like that 2-3 times a day, you'll find it's like flushing the mind. All the terrible things that the mind shows us, anxiety, fear, you see, it is meaningless. It has no point, no meaning, no significance. You sit quietly like that, you'll see mind calms down by itself. Nirvikalpos. Then what am I? Nirvikalposi bodhatma. You are bodha. Very beautiful phrase, very common in Advaita Vedanta. Bodhatma. Atma means self. What kind of self is it? Is it Deha Atma? Mana Atma? No, it is Bodhatma. Bodhatma means consciousness Atma. Awareness Atma. Atma the self. You are none other than Bodha, consciousness. Bodhatma. And that Bodha is what kind of Bodha? Nirvikalposi. Mind is always savikalpa. Savikalpa means changing thoughts, feelings, attitudes, dispositions, the state of the mind continuously changing. That is called savikalpa. Consciousness is nirvikalpa, always. You cannot change consciousness. Whatever changes is the mind. Whatever changes is the prana. Whatever changes is the body. Whatever changes is the world outside. And these are all revealed by consciousness, to consciousness, in consciousness. But consciousness itself does not change. Nirvikalposi bodhatma. You are choicelessly beyond change. Don't worry at all. No old age for you, no middle age for you, no youth for you, no birth for you, no death for you. Nirvikalposi bodhatma. Nirvikara. There is no change. Mind is savikara. Body is savikara. Body undergoes asti, jayate, asti, vardhate, viparinamate, apakshiyate, nashyati. It is born, comes into existence. It develops from childhood to teenage and on. Then it begins to, it matures. Then it begins to decay. And see, after 40s, one doctor joked, Swamiji, after 40, take it for granted. It's all downhill after that. Young people do not understand that. They think it will go on getting better and better. It will go down. That's it. This is the best you have reached, top of the hill. The rest is downhill now. So viparinamate, apakshiyate. Apakshiyate means it deteriorates. And then it will die one day. Body will die. But you are nirvikara. Mind is savikara. So many thoughts, feelings going on throughout the day, from morning till now. How many thoughts you have got? How many times happy? How many times sad, disappointed? How many times excited? How many times bored? How many times annoyed? How many times peaceful? Mind. This is called savikara. But you, the awareness, you are nirvikara. You are the one which revealed the peaceful mind. You are the one which revealed the agitated mind. You are the one which revealed the excited mind. You are the one which revealed the bored mind. So nirvikara. What will you do then? Sukham chara. Move about happily. Do your duties happily. Sit quietly happily. And meditate happily. Go and cook a dish in the kitchen happily. Interact with people happily. Does not mean you have to have like a smile always. An American says a smiling face always you have to have. Not necessarily. Be relaxed. Sukham chara. Even when you're angry, you can be relaxed. Where is anger? Anger is in the mind. Anger is in the body. Don't be angry, but even if it is there, one Swami was there, Swami Premanand, the disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. He used to look after Belur Mutt in the early days, during time Swami Vivekananda, just after Swami Vivekananda's time. It was very popular. Young people used to come. Many youngsters became sannyasis because of his love and affection. So one person has written reminiscences of Swami Premananda. So I went to meet him and I saw that the Swamiji was scolding a brahmachari as part of the training. Swami, that Premanandaji was very fair. So when he was scolded and became angry, his face would become red. So the Swami is scolding, his face has become red and he's scolding this brahmachari. And this man who's writing, he says that, I thought, oh, this sadhu has anger. The moment I thought this, Swami Premananda turned towards me, peaceful face with sweet smile and said, oh, you have come. How are you? I thought, wow, amazing. Within 1 second, no anger. And when I thought that, immediately turned back to the brahmachari, face became red again, he started scolding. That anger, There's a saying in Bengali, Shadur Rag Jolet Dag. Like flowing water. If you try to draw a line in flowing water, what happens to the line? As you are drawing that line goes away because water is flowing. Similarly, anger will go away. Imagine that flowing water, anger will go away. Nirvikara Sukham Chara. Be happy. Even in the midst of, sometimes mind will become upset, sometimes it will become angry, sometimes peaceful. Doesn't matter. You are happy. Sukham Chara. We have run out of time, but what I will do is, so one more verse, let me read. In the meantime, you can think of questions and observations. Number 6, let me read. It's a very beautiful verse, but I will not explain it much now because we have run out of time. So this consciousness I am. Now the question is, how many such consciousnesses are there? What about all these other people? Is each one a separate consciousness? I understand. I am not body, not mind. Thank you very much for this wonderful teaching. But I have a question. All these people are sitting. Each of them is a separate consciousness apart from me, or is it one consciousness? And you know, Advaita Vedanta says it is the same Atma. It is one consciousness. Bodies are different. Mind and personalities are different. But the Atma or the consciousness behind everyone is one and the same, with one Satchidananda in all bodies and minds. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Kshetragyam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata, 13th chapter. Know me to be the consciousness, the knower of the field in all bodies and minds. So this thing is said in the 6th verse. Again, chapter 15. Sarvabhuteshu chatmanam sarvabhutani chatmani Vigyaya nirahankaro nirmamastvam sukhi bhava. Sarva bhuteshu chatmanam. In all beings, and all living beings, not only human beings, all living beings, the same Atma. All non-living beings, the same existence, which is the Atma, Satchidananda. Same Atma in all beings, in all living and non-living. See, non-living beings, they do not have prana. That's why they are non-living. They do not have sukshma sharira, but they have existence. That existence is you. You are the same consciousness, same existence in all beings of the world. Sarva bhuteshu atmanam. This is sat anusyuta. In technical terms, the pervasion of existence. In all beings, you exist as existence itself. Sarva bhutani chatmani. And all beings are in you the Atma. You are in all beings and all beings are in you. This is again Bhagavad Gita, same phrase is used. Ishopanishad, the same phrase is used. In you, the consciousness, in you appears the entire world. In technical terms, in Advaita Vedanta, the universe with all its beings is adhyasta, superimposed upon you. This is called adhyasa. It's an appearance in you. Appearance in you means you, the consciousness alone, appear as all the beings of the world. Not one person, even the person you dislike the most, even your greatest enemy, is you. You alone are appearing as that person. Sarva bhutani chatmani. Vigyaya, realizing this. Nirahankara nirmamastvam. Nirahankara nirmama. Ahankara is the ego. I am free from ego means not that the ego will shut down. I am not the ego. So the ego is an object. Just like this is an object, the body is an object, the breath is an object. Object means what you are aware of. Again, important. Object means that which you are aware of. So you are aware of the breath. You are aware of the thoughts. And among the thoughts is one more function of the mind, one more antakarana vritti called ahankara, ahankara vritti. It's a particular function of the mind. Nothing wrong with the ego as such. It's only when I, the Atma, limit myself to the ego and I think I am the ego, and then the trouble starts. Then I will immediately be connected with the mind and body. So nirahankara, I am the witness of the ego. Nirmama, to attain that nirahankara, you might say it's very difficult. Yes. So the step is nirmama. Start with, it is not mine. It belongs to Prakriti, it belongs to Ishvara, whatever you call it. Not mine. Na mama. Start with that. In fact, the word namaha, which we say, salutation, it means namama. When I say namaha, whether Vishnu, Shiva, whatever, Durga, it means, O Divine Mother, O Lord Mahadeva, O Lord Narayana, it is yours, not mine. This world is yours, universe is yours. This samsara is yours. Husband, wife, children, property, it is all yours. This body is yours. This mind is also yours. I am the witness of it. I am the, and that witness consciousness is one with you. So, na mama. When you do that, na mama, I just imagine you do not own anything. Imagine yourself as the most all-renouncing sannyasi. Mentally imagine. I do not own anything in this world. I know one sadhu, I'll tell you this and I'll stop. One sadhu, I do not know if he's still alive in India. So he has this nice system called 0-0. What is 0-0? He lives under a tree. So he starts his day, sunrise, no possession, only his kaupin, a loincloth he wears, he sits under a tree, and he has nothing else. He sleeps under the tree also. Old sadhu. So throughout the day, the villagers, devotees, they have a lot of respect for him. They keep coming. People come with some prayer, some advice they want, or simply to have darshan. And they will bring food, clothes, things like that. And there is a volunteer system. All the things which are bought, they're immediately distributed within a few hours in local villages to poor people. His rule is, by sunset, it should be zero again. All the things which come throughout the day, evening again, zero. So he has this 0-0 budgeting system, audit system, 0-0. He starts his day with zero, nothing, and ends his day with zero. Completely free. Just think for a moment mentally. Let it all remain. Family, possessions, all it's there. But mentally think, nothing is there. Na mamaha. Because there means they're all around me, but I have cut my relation with everything. You will see, don't be afraid. You will see so much peace will come. Once na mama, you've cut your relation with all possessions, people, everything mentally, then nirahankara will be easy. Then that isolated ego, you can easily see that it is an object. I am the witness of that ego. When the ego is fat and bloated with many possessions, I am so and so, these are my relatives, these are my children, grandchildren, this is my house, these are my degrees, then it's very difficult to say nirahankara. Ahankara becomes fattened with possessions, relations. Drop the relations, drop the possessions mentally, then ahankara also you can drop quite easily. Mentally try it as an exercise. Nirahankara nirmama. Then sukham chara. Ashtavakra is very funny that way. Then be fully active like that. They go about, do your job, whatever you want to do. So this is the, let me just chant the verses, the 3 verses one after another, and then we can interact. Natvam deho nate deho bhokta karta nava bhavan chidruposi sada sakshi nirapeksha sukham chara ragadvesho mano dharmo namanaste kadachana nirvikalposi bodhatma nirvikara sukham chara sarvabhuteshu chatmanam sarvabhutani chatmani vigyaya nirahankaro nirmamastvam sukhi bhava. Instead of sukham chara, he says sukhi bhava. That is his blessing to all humanity. Sukhi bhava. All right. Let us see. There are some comments. Jagdish ji saying, could you please share a few moments from the day when you realized your true nature? Also guide us how we can realize our Sada Sakshi, intellectually, inner voice, intuition. I fully agree about Sada Sakshi. Yes. Few moments from the day when you realized your true nature. Who I? Okay. I will never tell you that. No, how do you know that I've realized it? I've just read a few books. I'm sharing this with you. That's all. How can we realize our Sada Sakshi? Yes. So if you say that intellectually I understand, good. Yeah, if you say I have understood intellectually, that means there is a little doubt there. I have understood intellectually, but I have not yet realized. If you feel like that, what you have understood intellectually, stay with that. Sit quietly. It's Vedantic meditation. Read these, Nirvana Shatakam, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham. Listen to that. Read Ashtavakra, read Ribhu Gita, read the teachings of Bhagavan Ramana, the Who Am I, that little book. Read Avadhuta Gita and sit quietly and see whether it is the truth or not. Then, whenever there is a problem in the world, your mind gets upset, and it will happen again and again throughout the day. You will get many obstacles. Then you try to apply that teaching. Just don't do anything except see that your mind becomes calm again. I am not the body. I am not the mind. So the pain in the body, the upset in the mind, I am not it. Don't try to control the pain. Don't try to calm down the mind. I am just not it. I am the witness of it. You will see mind will become calm. Then Neera Kashyap is asking, does pure awareness shine through the sattvic mind? If yes, it's sattvic mind, pure awareness itself. The pure awareness shines always. Most sattvic mind, rajasic, disturbed mind, tamasic, lazy mind, waking mind, sleepy mind, dreaming mind, in every mind, for whatever sense, whatever kind of mind it is, the pure consciousness alone is shining. This is what Ashtavakra wants to tell you, what Bhagavan Ramana also wants to tell you. You are that regardless of the condition of your mind. But then why is sattvic mind so valued? Because spirituality is much easier when the mind is sattvic. If the mind is restless, if the mind is tamasic, very difficult. That's why there is always an effort at the level of body and mind to have a sattvic lifestyle. Then all these teachings, they become more possible. Otherwise, in a restless mind or a tamasic mind, the mind will make you doubt these teachings itself. The identification with body and mind will become much thicker, stronger, if that mind is tamasic or rajasic. So sattvic mind is to be cultivated, but always remember, you are not dependent on sattvic mind. You are not dependent on rajasic mind. You are not dependent on tamasic mind also. You are always the sakshi of that. Richa is asking, while we are not body or mind, at conventional level, they serve a purpose. Yes, certainly. It is also said the enlightenment is best possible human embodiment, not in other realms, demigods, animals. Correct. However, it is also important to generate dispassion to cut sensory or obsession towards objects in the world. How can we generate a middle way where we are doing our duty, meditating and doing puja, but at the same time, we know that this is all a playful theater and not to be taken very seriously. This seems to be a tightrope. Don't walk the tightrope. Don't look for a middle way. Don't try to balance. It's trying to balance poison and amrita. One sip of amrita, one sip of poison, balancing. Never balance like that. You will fail always. Always take the side of the amrita. Always take the side of realization. Always take the side of the Atman. So that we have this idea that if I'm spiritual, then I will not do my duties. If I'm spiritual, I will not mix with other people in the world. I will not go to the office. I will not clean my room. I will, of course not. All activities are possible at the level of the body, only at the level of the body. The activities at the level of the body, they cannot be stopped. Bhagavad Gita makes it clear. Not even for na kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtatya karmakrit. Even a moment you cannot stop without doing any activity. At the level of the body, activity is continuous. If you sit in meditation, that's also an activity. So, karma is continuous at the level of the body. You cannot stop it. You need not stop it. Let it go on. Whatever has to be done, let the body do. And when that everyday body also will stop, rest is there, deep sleep is there, and at one point death of the body is there. What is it to you? Similarly, activity at the level of the mind. When the mind is to be active, when it's to concentrate on work or study, let it do that. When it is to quieten down in prayer and meditation, let it do that. Again, let it become active. At the time for sleeping, let it go to sleep. You are the witness consciousness. If you have that attitude, and it's not easy, again and again we will slip into identification with body and mind. Remember, even when I slip into identification with body and mind, I'm still the witness consciousness. Sada Sakshi. So look, not balance. Be fully established in the most radical Advaitic viewpoint, like Ashtavakra, like Bhagavan Ramana. Be established in that. Just like Bhagavan Ramana says, I am the self, I am Atman. You are also the self, your Atman. Being established in that, then do your activities. That is the true balance. Not little bit of spirituality, little bit of worldliness, little bit of meditation, little bit of activity. That balance is very difficult and dangerous. That is really a tightrope. Don't get on the tightrope. Remain on the firm ground. What is the firm ground? Atma. And then deal with the world. Look what Ashtavakra said. Sukham chara. Happily interact with the world. And then Shikha Paul says, Sri Krishna says, for protection of dharma, war is justified. Buddhism does not support violence in any condition. Kindly comment. The Sanatana dharma is most balanced. See, when you see Buddhism does not support violence in any condition, did the Buddhist kings not fight? They fought. This in ancient India, this was very well understood. If you are a monk and spiritual seeker, you must not engage in violence if you have taken the vows of monasticism. But if you are a policeman, if you are a general in the army, if you suddenly say, I've taken the vows of non-violence, I will not fight, then don't be a general. Be a monk. That was the teaching of the Bhagavad Gita. Whether it is a Buddhist king in ancient India, whether it is a Jaina king, even more than Buddhism, Jainism is very strict about non-violence. There were many Jaina kings in south of India. At one time, Jainism was very popular. So it was Jaina kings were there. Did they fight wars or not? They fought wars. Thousands of people were killed. So that is a different thing. If your duty is in the world, whichever position you are in, you'll have to do. Second World War was fought by Japan, Buddhist country. So now China is fighting on the border, creating trouble. At least some part of it is Buddhist. Tibet, very peaceful, non-violent, Dalai Lama, His Holiness, and all the Tibetan. If you see the history of Tibet, endless warfare is going on there until the modern time. So, yes, so these are two different things. For the protection of dharma, war is justified does not mean that you will always get into war. Remember, Bhagavan Krishna tried to prevent war to the utmost. But samsara is such. Sometimes you have to scold a person. Sometimes you have to catch and punish a thief. Sometimes you have to fight a war, unfortunately. So that is different. In spite of that also, you can be fully enlightened and at peace. Kindly show some light on this point illustrated in Bhagavad Gita. Oh, Shankar is asking, what is the difference between mind and intellect? These definitions are very clear in Vedanta. Mana, mind is manas. Sankalpa vikalpa atmakam manaha. And buddhi is nischayatmika antakarana vritti is buddhi. So the determinative faculty, the knowledge faculty, when you realize, I get it. See the difference between, suppose you're doing a maths problem, trying to understand, thinking this way and that way. Mind is active. Manas. When the flash of understanding comes, I get it. That is buddhi. It's the same thing, two different functions. Sankalpa vikalpa, mind. Nischayatmika, clarity comes, buddhi. Kindly throw some light on this point illustrated in Bhagavad Gita. Exact time of death, Bhakta remembers me truly. Instant enlightenment. What is the meaning of this? How can it be achieved? Death is an unknown territory. Remember what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. Yes, at the time of death, what you remember, that determines the next birth or one attains God. Tyajatyante kalevaram, he says. There, the next verse, Krishna says, therefore, sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara. At all times, remember me. So it's not at the point of death, suddenly you will decide, whole lifetime I will pass doing whatever else. As Krishna has said, at the time of death, you will remember and attain God. So all these sadhakas and all, they are foolish. They're always trying to remember God. I will remember God at the time of death and then I will attain God realization. No, it will not work. As you said, it is unknown what will happen at that time. One may not be in a condition to think anything also. So therefore, think of the Lord at all times. That Krishna himself says in the next verse after that. All right, I think we will stop. We have run out of time. There's so many good questions. So I will have to come back again, I think. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Thank you so much.
Swamiji, once again, very, very grateful for your kind address. Taking benefit of your presence, Swamiji, I'm very happy to announce that Raman Kendra Delhi will be organizing Rudra Abhishek for 4 Pahar or 12 hours through the entire night on 11th March on the occasion of Mahashivratri. This is being done for the first time at Kendra. And our intention of organizing this was to help our devotees come out of the intense last 12 months of pain, confusion, and losses of various types due to the COVID period. Swamiji, as I requested you yesterday, may I please again request if you can talk briefly about the importance of Rudra Abhishek?
Yes, you mentioned this, and I'm glad that Ramana Kendra is doing it. Sometimes, what happens is when we follow Advaita Vedanta, it seems so anti-ritualistic. We think, oh, these are rituals. Why should we do this? I am a Vedantin, Advaitin. But notice, there is no conflict between rituals and Advaita Vedanta. In the Shankara Mathas, in the Sringeri, and other places, you will find throughout the day rituals are going on. And they are the highest teachers of Advaita Vedanta. See, there is no conflict. What are these rituals? Rudra Abhishek especially. What is this ritual? Swami Ashokanandaji, who was one of the senior monks of the Vedanta Society in Northern California, he was a disciple of Swami Vivekananda. He used to say, rituals are concrete philosophy. So the Advaita Vedanta, which we are studying, which we talked about, Ashtavakra, which Bhagavan Ramana taught, that is put into a physical form in the rituals. So there are actual physical actions which we do with physical objects, with the bay leaves, with the ghee which is poured, with the milk which is poured, these items, and with the Shivalinga. This is the physical form of it. There is a vachik form. You chant the Rudram. That ritual has a verbal form. You chant the Rudram. It has a mental form. You do mental upasana of Lord Shiva. And it has an intellect form, buddhi form, where you understand that Chidananda Rupa Shivoham. It is basically being centered in your real nature. So just that, the difference is this. What we talked about here, Atma, Brahma, Bodhatma, all this we are talking about, the self which Bhagavan Ramana talks about. In the Rudra Abhisheka, it is called Shiva Tattva. Shiva Tattva, the principle of Shiva. Same consciousness, which Bhagavan called Arunachala Shiva, which is pure consciousness. The same reality is called the Shiva Tattva, which is expressed in 1,000 different ways in the Rudram. And that is chanted, that's the verbal form of it, and the rituals are performed, that's the physical form of it. Mentally, one must be present in the presence of Lord Shiva. That's the mental form of it. And the understanding, the jnana form of it is, I and that Shiva Tattva, we are one in the same reality. Not only that, this world is the Shiva Tattva. So this is a step-by-step approach to Aham Brahmasmi. Instead of jumping like Hanuman straight from here to Aham Brahmasmi, it is a step-by-step approach, and it is repeated again and again, 11 times, 121 times. Is repeated. You stay with it. This is one side of it. Other side of Rudra Abhishek, as he just mentioned, all these rituals, the Vedic rituals, have a second aspect. The second aspect is the Vyavaharika aspect of it. The Vyavaharika aspect is it generates a punya. So this comes from the Purva Mimamsa philosophy. The Vedic rituals generate a punya which counteracts the negative effects of karma. So suffering, illness, misery at personal level, family level, and social level. These are counteracted. And say, how do I know this? This you have to take it on faith. The Vedic faith tells us that as you hold on to this Vedic faith and you chant these mantras and perform these rituals, the ancient term, we say punya, but the ancient term is called apurva. So a merit is generated which counteracts negativities. It will lead to a more peaceful life mentally for you. It will counteract physical diseases actually, and it will lead to a better family life and an improvement of community life. So this is the secondary benefit. So this is the very good, then we should this is what we should go for. No, this is a worldly benefit. It will come. It is a secondary benefit. But keep your eyes on the ultimate benefit, that Aham Brahmasmi, which comes from dedicated, faithful performance of this ritual. So I'm very glad that you have organized it, and Mahashivaratri are going to organize in this way and observe it.
Thank you so much, Swamiji, once again. Swamiji, Kendra's President, Justice Ramamurthy, would like to express his thanks to you.
Yes, sir. My dear respected Swamiji, we are all very happy, very much blessed to hear you. Very interesting, instructive speech, Swamiji. I wish that we have such satsangs very often so that we can understand, in spite of our difficulties in life, what exactly is what we are facing and how to meet the challenges in life, Swamiji. We are very grateful to you, Swamiji. On behalf of Aruna Kendra, I express my deep sense of gratitude for this gracious gesture today, Swamiji. Om Sri Ramanaya Namaha.
Thank you. Swamiji, Adarshji, who also addressed you last time, would also like to thank you. He's the Vice President of the Kendra.
Yes.
Swamiji, namaskar.
Namaste, good to see you.
Very, very grateful to you to having spared some time and explaining us so beautifully the concept of who am I. We are really very, very, joyous to say that whenever you are there, and we look forward to many more occasions like this. As a matter of fact, we are looking to the day when you would come to India, to our Kendra, then we are able to listen to you in person. We're looking forward to that day, sir. Thank you so much and wish you all the best in life.
Thank you so much. Please take care.
Swamiji, once again, many thanks. Now, moving forward, I would request Jayanti ji to present bhajans and Akshar Manamalai.
Yeah. So today's bhajan, a question and an answer for that. Anandam enge yena alayum maname. Oh, mind, where is Anandam? Where is happiness we are searching? And the answer is Anma Swarupame Anandame. Anandame, Anandamenge yena alayum maname. Anandamenge yena alayum maname. Anma Swarupame Anandame, Anandamenge yena alayum maname. Anma Swarupame Anandame, Anandame, Sachidanandame, Anandame, Sachidanandame, Anandame, Hamsanandame, Anandame, Hamsanandame, Anandame, Nityanandame, Anandame, Nityanandame, Anandame, Shivanandame, Anandame, Shivanandame, Anandame, Paramanandame, Anandame, Paramanandame, Anandame, Ramanandame, Anandame. ஆனந்தமே ஆனந்தமெங்கே எனகலையும் மனமே ஆனந்தமெங்கே எனகலையும் மனமே ஆத்மஸ்வரூபமே ஆனந்தமே ஆத்மஸ்வரூபமே ஆனந்தமே அருணாச்சலவரற்கு ஏற்ற அக்ஷரமணமாலை சாற்ற கருணாகர கணபதியே கரம் அருளே காப்பாயே அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல 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 அருணாச்சலமெனகமே நினைப்பவர் அகத்தை வேறறுப்பாய் அருணாச்சல அழகு சுந்தரம் போல் அகமும் நீயும் முற்று அபிநமயிருப்போம் அருணாச்சல அகம் புகுந்தே துன்னக குகை சிறையாய் அமர்வித்ததென் கொல்லருணாச்சல ஆரே காயனை ஆண்டனை அகற்றிடில் அகிலம் பழித்திடும் அருணாச்சல இப்பழி தப்புனையே நினைப்பேத்தாய் இனி யார் அறிவார் அருணாச்சல ஏன்றிடும் என் பெரிதருள் புரிவோய் இதுவோ உனதருள் அருணாச்சல உனையே மாற்றி ஓடாதுளத்தின் மேல் உறுதியாயிருப்பாய் அருணாச்சல ஓ சோற்றுளம் விடாதனை கண்டடங்கிட உன்னழகை காட்டருணாச்சல என்னை அழித்து போதனை கலவாவிடில் இது போவான்மை அருணாச்சல ஏன் இந்த உறக்கம் என்னை பிறரிருக்க இது உனகழகோ அருணாச்சல ஐம்புல கழவர் அகத்தினில் புகும்போது அகத்தில் நீ இல்லையோ அருணாச்சல ஏன் இந்த ஒருவன முன்னை ஒளிதவர் வருவார் உன் சூதே இது அருணாச்சல ஓங்கார பொருள் ஒப்புயவில்லோய் உன்னை யார் அறிவார் அருணாச்சல அவ்வை போலனக்குள் அருளை தந்தனை ஆளுவதுள் கடன் அருணாச்சல அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல அருணாச்சலம் வாழி அன்பர்களும் வாழி அக்ஷர மணமாலை வாழி வாழ்க ஸ்வயம் பிரகாசம் வாழ்க வாழ்கவே வாழ்க ஸ்வயம் பிரகாசம் வாழ்க வாழ்கவே சூழ்க சுதாத்ம சக்தி சூழ்க சூழ்கவே சூழ்க சுதாத்ம சக்தி சூழ்க சூழ்கவே ஏழுலகம் ஜீவன் முக்தி இன்பம் பொங்கவே ஏழுலகம் ஜீவன் முக்தி இன்பம் பொங்கவே இதயமாகும் இறைவனாகி எல்லாம் ஓங்கவே இதயமாகும் இறைவனாகி எல்லாம் ஓங்கவே பாழ்மனம் மகந்தை வாழ்வு பாழ்பட்டொழிகவே பாழ்மனம் மகந்தை வாழ்வு பாழ்பட்டொழிகவே பரமசச்சிதானந்தாத்மா பால் பொழிகவே பரமசச்சிதானந்தாத்மா பால் பொழிகவே வாழ்க ஸ்வயம் பிரகாசம் வாழ்க வாழ்கவே சூழ்க சூதாத்ம சக்தி சூழ்க சூழ்கவே தட்டிலாத நித்த ஜீவ தத்துவமுங்கவே தட்டிலாத நித்த ஜீவ தத்துவமுங்கவே தன்மயத்தில் சின்மயம் தழைத்து ஓங்கவே தன்மயத்தில் சின்மயம் தழைத்து ஓங்கவே எட்டு திக்கும் அம்ச சோகம் எதிரொலிக்கவே எட்டு திக்கும் அம்ச சோகம் எதிரொலிக்கவே எல்லாம் பிரம்மம் என்னும் உண்மை இறைவகிக்கவே எல்லாம் பிரம்மம் என்னும் உண்மை இறைவகிக்கவே வாழ்க ஸ்வயம் பிரகாசம் வாழ்க வாழ்கவே சூழ்க சூதாத்ம சக்தி சூழ்க சூழ்கவே சூழ்க சூதாத்ம சக்தி சூழ்க சூழ்கவே வாழ்க ஸ்வயம் பிரகாசம் வாழ்க வாழ்கவே.
Thank you, Jayanti Didi.
Thank you, Ramana.
Nambu Ramana Didi. Narayanji.
Okay, sir. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Arunachalramaya Namo. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Arunachalramaya Namo. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Arunachalramaya Namo. Dhupartam samarpayami. Deepartam samarpayami. Akshadam samarpayami. Om Bhurvasvava Tasodharvanyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Yo Yona Prajojayad Devasavita Prasva Satyam Tardena Prasanjami Amrvastu Amumi Swaha Om Pranay Swaha Om Avane Swaha Om Dhyanay Swaha Udhanay Swaha Om Samanay Swaha Om Brahmane Swaha Arunachal Shri Ramanaya Namaha Arunachal Ramanaya Namaha Arunachal Shri Ramanaya Namaha प्रकटगोशीरं कदलीपழம் निवेद्यं समर्पयामि मध्ये मध्ये पानीयं समर्पयामि अमृतोपसां रुद्राघोषं समर्पयामि नीराजनं समर्पयामि नीराजनानन्तरम् आसमनीयं समर्पयामि हरि ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम पूगीबल समायुक्तं नागवल्ली तनयोर्धं कर्पूर्ण सूर्ण संयुक्तं तदिक्षुतां कर्पूरं समर्पयामि घंटी बजा ओम नमो भगवते श्री अरुणाचल श्री रमणाय नमः ओम नमो भगवते श्री अरुणाचल श्री रमणाय नमः ओम नमो भगवते श्री अरुणाचल श्री रमणाय नमः सोमो वा येकस्य राजमानते यो राजा सन राज्यो वा सोमेने जते देवस्वामेनानि अविषि भवन्ति एतावतो वै देवानां स्वाहा स एवास्मै स्वान् प्रयच्छन्ति स एनं पुनस्तवन्ते राजाय देवसुराजा बहुधि तत्र दूयो बालं चक्रधारणं देवांस्तु राजयतायिने नमोऽयं वैष्णवाय कुर्महे तमे कामाय महाराजाय नमः कर्पूरं समर्पयामि नीराजनं समर्पयामि नीराजनानन्तरं समर्पयामि हरि ओम पुष्पं वेदा पुष्पवान् प्रजावान् पशुमान् भवति चन्द्रमा वावां पुष्पं पुष्पवान् प्रजावान् पशुमान् भवति ओम तत् ब्रह्मा ओम तत् वायु ओम तत् आत्मा ओम तत् सत्यम ओम तत् सर्वम ओम तत् पुरोर्नमः अंतर्विभूते सर्वाया पुष्पमूर्तिषु त्वं यन्नस्तं वसत्कारस्तं इन्द्रस्तं रुद्रस्तं विष्णुस्तं ब्रह्मस्तं प्रजापति ओम तदा वो ज्योतिरसो अमृतं ब्रह्म पूर्वस्वरं न कर्मणा न प्रजया धने विद्यालये अमृतत्वमानसु परेण नाहं नियतं गुहायं विप्राजवेदद्यदयोर्दिशन्ति वेदांत विज्ञान से निश्चयार्था संन्यास योगातते शुद्ध सत्त्वाः ते ब्रह्मलोके तु परांगकाले परामुतात् परिमुच्यन्ति सर्वे तारं विभावं परमेत्मभूतं यत् पुण्डरीकं पुरमद्य सगुंसदं तत्रावित्तकरमकगनं विसोगत् तस्मिन् यतं तद्गद्वादित्यं यो वेदातो स्वरप्रोक्तो वेदान्तस्य प्रतिष्ठितः तस्य प्रकृतिलीनस्य परसमयेश्वर मंत्रपुष्पं श्री रमण महर्षि समर्पयामि। ओम तत्सत् ब्रह्मार्पणमस्तु। हरि ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम। यानि यानि सर्वाणि वेदानि है तानि तानि प्रसन्ति प्रदर्शन पदे पदे। अरुणाचल रमणा रमणाय रमणाय कात्याय मुरुगा उदयदेव सुब्रह्मण्याय स्वामीनाथन दक्षिणामूर्ति नटराजन भैरवरेव नंदी मैसनाय शिव पार्वती ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय।
This brings us to the end of the Satsang day. We shall meet for our next Satsang with Mr. Michael James on 14th March and Mr. David Godman on 28th March. I shall also be sending out detailed messages to all the devotees for Rudra Abhishek on 11th March. Namo Ramana.